Welcome back to the Friendlyjordies podcast, where we will be delving into territory that we don't normally tread into, especially on this specific broadcast, which is defending the Queensland Labor Party. So, you've recently...
Are you going to actually defend them?
Of course I am.
Fuck's sake.
If I won't, who will? Anastasia Palaszczuk? I think even she wants to lose.
Oh, that's how you pronounce her name.
What?
That's how you pronounce her name.
What did you think it was? Palaszczuk.
I just mixed Tanya Plevosek and... what was it?
Yeah, Jesus, if you thought Hermione was hard to pronounce.
Palaszczuk.
Palaszczuk. Okay, gotcha.
Palaszczuk.
Well, one of the... I was reading...
Palaszczuk, hell yeah. Gets total majority.
Is she projected to win?
It's tight.
I don't know.
It's very, very tight, and I am very concerned about it.
So I was reading this article on the ABC today, which was about Queensland's renewable energy targets. So one of the things... So, by the way, this study that I was reading didn't include WA, so don't know what their stats or anything
I don't think it's a place anyway.
But Queensland produces the lowest number of renewables. It's
So
at the
strange.
point, it's close to like, I think around 11, 10 to 12%, somewhere
I don't
around
think this is
that.
per capita, though. I'm pretty sure that New South Wales is the lowest.
Per capita, I don't know. I'm talking about in general. Because New South Wales is very, very close to Queen. So I think the difference between New South Wales and Queensland right now in 2020 is a difference of 0.4%. So
Go Queensland.
So I guess yeah, per capita New South Wales would be. But one of the things that this article was talking about was why this is the case. Well, because like obviously they make a lot of money from mining and whatever it was, and the Liberal government usually is in power, and they make sure that they don't subsidize renewables.
It's not usually in power. But when it was in power, it was devastating.
No, but like,
Just understand this. 3 years of the LNP is the equivalent to 9 years of the New South Wales Liberals. They are insane. They are known as the Taliban for a reason. And I think that that is a really gross, unfair characterization of the Taliban to equate them with the LNP. I do, though. Like, seriously. Like, I genuinely believe this. I think that the Taliban do more for the population that they are under the control of than the LNP does.
Shit.
That's a big call. You just like those little caves they lived in. Come on.
And I like the fact that they kill you if you listen to radio. Come on, it needs to die.
Authoritarian
Hit FM
right.
had its run.
They don't kill you if you listen to radio.
I'm just.
They want you to listen to their radio station. They took over the radio stations. And then eventually the guy, the head of the Taliban was known as Mr. Radio because he became
Mr.
Alan Jones. He just
Are you serious?
He was a Taliban fighter.
His name was Mr. Ray. Where? In Pakistan?
In Swat Valley, the place that we were in. That place.
What happened to him?
He rose up the ranks and he became the leader of Taliban throughout. And then he was killed by a drone strike, I think. But he was
Killed Mr. Radio. Shame on you.
he literally.
Hey, looks like video didn't kill the radio star. Drones did.
We sidetracked, but what I wanted to ask you about was that I don't know a lot about this, and I tried to do some research, and the one thing that I understood was about, the Queensland renewable targets. So obviously there's a lot of subsidy that goes into coal power generation over there. So there is a lot of coal power in the market grid. And one of the reasons why renewables hasn't taken off over there is this is what the experts that I was reading about were saying that, well, it's simple. You weren't giving enough subsidy to renewables and you were giving heavy subsidies to coal. So obviously renewables are not going to be able to...
Just reiterate this. Not Queensland Labor, LNP.
Yeah, LNP, sorry, initially. But what Queensland Labor did was, and this is where I want to get your opinion on this. So according to them, it's political kryptonite to remove subsidies from coal.
And it is.
So what Anastasia is doing is that she's giving heavy subsidies to renewables. She's setting up these two massive plants. One of them is going to be wind powered and the other is going to be solar. And they're saying that by 2023, through this, we should be able to raise our renewable energy supply from whatever, like 10 to 12% to around 35 to 36%.
So a massive jump in 3 years.
That's what they're saying is going to happen, but they're also depending on the market. One of the other things that people are saying is like, okay, there's a possibility that renewables still might not be able to compete with coal because the coal is going to put heavy investment into making sure that this doesn't take off too well. So it's an estimate that they're going to reach over there. And Queensland Labor is basically just refusing to pick a big fight with mining companies. They're saying that that's going to just... We're not going to be elected again if we do that.
Can I just read this comment because it's really...
And they're right.
Can I read this comment? Terra Australis said, subsidies prove that the Libs and Nats don't actually believe in a free market. How can they even deny that?
Yeah, no, they don't. It's what like the old John Stewart point. It's socialism for the rich.
But it is.
But so why do you think? So do you think in like long term that's a good strategy that you don't mess with the mining companies too much?
Of course. I think people really need to understand this. The mining industry is the invisible government of this country. Just like the weapons manufacturers in the US are the invisible government of the United States, we have our own. If you mess with the mining industry, you get Kevin Rudded. So what would you prefer? A government that is completely complacent with the mining industry, or one that tacitly governs in the interests of the people in an intelligent way? Because what the Greens are selling you in Queensland is a fantasy. They are saying, we're going to stop Adani. Well, that's good news. Something that wasn't going to get off the ground anyway is economically dead in the water. It's not getting built. And why? Because Queensland Labor was there saying we are not going to subsidise them, to the point that it got so bad that they can't compete anymore because global markets have shifted. The LNP and the Liberals might have secured fossil fuels future short term in Australia, but that's not what's happening worldwide. And that's where that coal is going, or isn't going now. So basically what the Greens are campaigning on in Queensland is we're going to do nothing. In other words, that's their main campaign drive, something that Labor, for political reasons, as it actually wants to attain government, as opposed to just winning a couple of seats, has been very strategic about. A lot of thought has gone into that, and as a result, you have Queensland moving away from massive land clearing and, of course, being one of the leaders in renewable energy. Sorry it took a while. That's what you get for electing fucking duckface Campbell Newman. You know, like that's what happens.
Right.
Dude, you got to give him credit. Apparently, he was, when I went to Queensland around 2014, it must have been, he was in power. Man, bikies were fucking scared of Campbell Newman. The word on the street at the time was, dude, Campbell Newman...
Don't tout the LNP. They get enough of that in the press.
I'm sorry. But apparently, like, he was a law and order guy. Anyways, I wanted to ask you a question about something else. So, and I don't know enough about it, so I wanted to get your take. What is up with, like, every fucking think tank now saying that the way for Australian economy and the energy sector to, like, recover from COVID and just, like, make a big buck is through gas? What's happening with there? I saw a little bit of the Michael West interview that you did, but I was slacking because I was supposed to be studying for my exam, so I stopped. But like, so you guys talked a little bit. So what's up with this gas, and why is this being touted as the new big thing?
Because Scott Morrison, in his infinite wisdom, started up and I can't even remember because this was a month ago now, but months ago, but I started looking into it a lot later than usual. Surprise, surprise. This is Friendlyjordies, the news of today, delivered next month. But
better than me. The YouTube videos of 2009 discovered 10 years later.
Dude, shut up. Your news of today delivered yesterday.
What do you mean?
You're psychic as fuck. You predict stuff all the time.
No, I'm psychic.
That's true. And this is Miss Love's claim to fame. One of the most viral videos of all time. I think you'll all remember it. That Montgomery Flea Market. It's just like a mini mall. To the left, to the right.
Living rooms, dinettes. Oh, yeah.
Montgomery's.
Still the funniest thing on the net, surely.
Think about this. This guy discovered it before Ellen did.
That's right.
When he sent it to me, it had maybe like 10,000 views on it. Which is amazing because Miss Love usually sends you stuff like I bet you just like, 2 days from now, she'll be like, dude, did you know an Ariana Grande concert in Manchester was born? That's usually his cycle,
You know,
right?
dude, you know there's a Led Zeppelin 3? What the fuck, bro? I've just been going 2 straight.
I'm not even
to
ready to consume it yet. I'm still working on one.
Hey,
But,
as
sorry.
riveting as this, I'm genuinely want to hear about the gas thing. I'm an audience member right now. I want to get your take on it.
Right, okay. Well, I am disappointed in you, Ali, for not listening to Miss Love's views on Zeppelin 3, but
I know there's some people out there that are.
yeah.
Okay, is the
I
gas
know
through
them. They look
fracking?
like you, but younger.
Yeah.
Is the gas through fracking? Is that what we're saying that we're gonna get? Is this why it's a new big thing that we now can like borrow technology from the US?
Look, what happened was his Economic Recovery Committee, who were getting paid, I think, $250,000 each to sit on this board, and I think it was up for 3 months. So they got 250 grand for a quarter year's work, or maybe half a year's work. They were all sitting on this board. Virtually everyone on it had links to gas. And wouldn't you know, their economic recovery plan was to invest a fuck ton of money into gas. Could you believe that they came up with that? That was definitely worth $250,000 each, wasn't it? Why didn't Scott Morrison, just on a pure, you're trying to get back in black, just ask them, what do you think? They'll tell you and then do it. At least save the money. It was insanity. And now, what they are doing, and this is what's particularly scary about it, is because Scott Morrison is constantly using this phrase of the next 5 years will define a generation. And he's right, which is why I think he's going to an early election. But if you are, and this is the textbook example is what happened in Queensland now, that they are struggling to meet their targets and they have to overinvest in renewables. Because if you invest the money into gas now, if you build that infrastructure instead of what they should be doing, which is building a bunch of hydrogen processing plants, you have locked in Australia's energy grid. You have locked in its economy. And it takes a long time to move away from these things once the investment and the ball starts rolling in these things, which is why they are, as the Chinese always say, finding an opportunity in a crisis as they see fit. They are trying to advertise this as, oh, this is 10% less gas emission, fossil fuel emissions than
true?
coal. Yeah, but so what? And on top of that, the fact that they are saying in the report that we are in dangerously short supply of gas, Australia, the Saudi Arabia of gas, the reason we're in short supply is because they opened up the market to foreign countries, and as a result, the price of gas tripled because Japan is obviously going to pay $12 per whatever it's called, gas ton or whatever. And in Australia, we were getting it for cheap because it was only allowed to be sold within this market here under the Labor government. So it was at $4. It was the same deal with Turkmenistan, right? They have a lot of gas. They sell it to their own population for peanuts, which is what you should be doing with your own natural resources.
Why?
But they are just exporting it out en masse overseas. They're saying this is going to recover the economy. I call bupkis on it. It is not going to recover the economy. There is virtually anything else that you spent that money on would have a better economic result than this. This is all just about building infrastructure in this country to service other countries and bring about planetary doom faster.
You know, the other thing that I was looking into, so the U.S. throughout its history wasn't exporting energy. It was mostly importing it, so like places like Saudi Arabia, whatever.
But
and
Obama got it handled.
He did, but like my point is something different. So energy prices in the U.S. were expensive, and now obviously with like fracking and them producing a surplus energy prices in the US are very, very cheap.
Yeah.
We're to a point where, like, I don't know, this is I get from like YouTube videos of like people cooking food. They're like, I'll just leave the oven on. And they always talk about like how cheap it is in the US.
Well,
electricity.
It was
but
the
like
investment. It was the investment in oil drills and technology.
the fracking was the game changer for them, because
wasn't it oil?
No, it was fracking.
There was
okay,
oil
right.
too, but like,
No, you're talking about shale oil, which is it's fracking.
Right.
it was harder to get, but like fracking technology allowed them to.
America's like, isn't it leading in like net export of oil now globally?
It's not leading, but it's remarkably getting to a place where it's going to start exporting oil. It is already exporting oil, but it's going to be like a big oil exporter.
Yeah.
But that's not my point. My point is like Australia is the same situation where we have always had gas. We've had a shitload of coal. Why is our electricity expensive? It's expensive compared to a lot of the rest of the world. Is it because we're not using it like Turkmenistan for our own? We're just like exporting it.
Yes, we're exporting. Well, it's all privatized. That's all a big con.
Right.
It's exactly the same thing.
You should
This is why
start a
everybody's
YouTube
always
channel
saying
about
that. Oh,
That is fucked.
Turkmenistan. Huh?
It is fucked.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Hanging out there.
Okay, right.
It's fucked.
Mislav has put his foot down on this one.
Foot's down.
Because you could argue that it is helping.
It is down.
It is helping the economy, but it's kind of only helping the exporters of this gas because they're getting a lot of money, whereas we are.
Getting stewed.
Dude, I'm willing to pay extra money for energy, and I know this is like somewhat a weirdly privileged position to say this, but I'm willing to pay extra money for electricity if I know that it's not creating a large amount of emissions. Because that's why I'm willing to pay extra. But now I'm like, fuck, we're like per capita one of the highest exporters of CO2 emissions.
Yeah.
And also our gas and electricity is fucking expensive. I'm like, I'm getting shit deals from both ends.
That's a reasonable position.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, so this is what I'm so sick of people always saying things like, like, ooh, in Turkmenistan, you can't openly be gay and free speech is restricted.
Remember, you don't want to
but
dig your own
everyone
grave.
gets Oh, that's right. I got the memo wrong. Sorry, team at Friendlyjordies. I know that we've had a lot of crisis meetings, but hey, this is all new territory for everyone, isn't it? I'm not allowed to say whatever the fuck's on my mind.
Go on.
No, but how there are always just this trade-off that they say of these countries like Turkmenistan, for instance, that, there's like a controlled state media. Man, I was there. I saw their media. It was
Funny.
Them getting interviewed. Yeah, Gurbanguly getting interviewed was exactly the same as Lee Sales interviewing Malcolm Turnbull. It was just as sycophantic.
I wouldn't be surprised,
But
really.
the other thing is, well, I mean, look, he was in a perfectly white desk with a bunch of scholars just writing down everything that he was saying. Anything just like, I feel like donuts. Okay, that's officially a law now. Which is true. Like anything that he says, that anything that comes out of his mouth is officially a law. And let's be honest, if you had the power, wouldn't you want that?
That's boss, dude.
Right.
Talk rule of law taken to shits.
But yeah, they were always whining about that. If you look at it, ever since Turkmenistan became its own nation, the Human Development Index that has just been, skyrocketing ever since. Access to schools, hospitals, shelter, food, electricity, all of these things are very close to handled by the government. They're so heavily subsidised by it. So their standards of living are phenomenal in comparison to other countries that followed our model of development that are getting increasingly poorer because the whole system is designed to export the wealth of the country, whereas they have this crazy notion that your country's wealth should benefit its people. And that's what's happening here.
Jack.
Man, you know what's crazy? I was reading about something, like obviously not in this context, but the effects of what like an international market can have on your economy. Apparently the transition between Europe's agricultural economy to the Industrial Revolution industrialized economy was like hundreds of years of a lot of really, really poor people. And the reason why they were poor, this was like an interesting fact for me. So in England, there were people that were required to work on farms and they were making food and everyone was getting fed and you had some level of employment. But what changed that was the idea of international markets. So all of a sudden, you could now grow stuff and you could export it into different markets that might be more well off.
Yeah.
So a lot of these English lords realized that instead of producing wheat, if they just grew sheep and were selling their wool to different markets, they could make a shitload of money. But what that meant was that not as many people were required to work on farms anymore. So they just laid off a whole bunch of people that never could recover until they went to factories hundreds of years later. That's where like the whole fucking, please sire, one loaf of bread, please. That was the guy who got laid off from the farm.
Hey,
And
everyone's
now-
asking for you to put your
I gotta
foot
say,
on the rug
worth it.
properly.
Foot-
They're getting triggered by that little bulge. Welcome to the
My
net.
bad.
You should have stuck it to him
No, I was,
and asked for subs.
because then it started to.
Oh,
yeah, I'm not good
if
at
you
this.
sub,
Sorry,
I'll
sorry.
take it down. But export economy is just ruining it.
Hey, can I just say too? That just reminded me. I watched your BLM video on Holsworthy Live.
Yes,
Big
very interested mislove.
fan.
Are you actually? Because people were saying I'm a cuck.
No, big fan. And
Look,
I'm-
you are a cuck, but it's also a good video.
And I'm even a bigger fan of the intro music. Down, dang, 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 down, dang, 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 dang. Big fan of that.
Is that just Stranger Things?
Pretty much.
Yeah?
Yeah. Did you write that music?
No, dude,
Yeah, I'm sure
I fucking
Ali-
stole it from a
good.
1960s state-run sitcom in Pakistan.
Dude,
That was their theme song.
Does sound like
it's
Stranger
just
Things.
all coming together for me. I think that every piece of music I hear from Pakistan becomes my favorite. The 60s surf rock era Pakistani music, the weird, now found out like sitcom, like whatever era sitcom, like everything from, dude, developing worlds music. Just fuck Miley Cyrus and all that bullshit off and just make it mandatory to just down and like surf rock and third world music is mad.
Having said that, bring back Eiffel 65.
Who the fuck is that?
Remember I'm Blue, that song?
Oh, dude, good call. And also that one
But,
that's
look,
like,
I still to this day don't know if they were Pakistani or not.
you'd assume.
Yeah.
And that song, Sweet Like Chocolate.
Yeah. What an era. That specific couple of months.
Yeah, shout out that.
They were around at the same time, weren't they? Those two
Definitely.
songs were definitely on the chart.
Yeah. And that weird.
And don't fact check us. I know that there's going to be a
No,
bunch of
it
nerds.
definitely was that era. And that other song, that one that's like, you baby, did it, feels like the music sounds better with you. With the potato.
Why are you so obsessed with that? No, that wasn't that song.
It was.
Starlight.
Holy
But-
shit.
yes.
Are they the same song? Yeah,
They
Starlight.
think they are
Yeah,
the same.
Starlight. How does Starlight go? Give me Starlight.
Why did they come into this trend just of like singing into a coffee mug? Because that's what it is. Music sound better with you.
Room reverb, yeah.
It's mug reverb.
Yeah. That's basically room, though. Actually, they should call it mug. But sorry, not to detract from that, but what you were saying about Europe is like, that just like reminded me of how you're explaining the slave trade and how the cycle of, making a profit off the slave trade and then selling back to Europe, which then circled back to Africa, and it was like this sort of indefinite circle of the market.
Dude, I actually wanted to get more into that because there's something even more fucked about that, which I couldn't get into the video. But, at one point, if you look at, like, Indian history, for example, at one point between, like, 1200 to just before, like, the British came, there were a lot of rulers that were slaves before. In fact, at one point, it would almost seem like it was a requirement for you to be a slave before you became a king. So I was trying to understand how that's possible over there and how slavery was completely different in the US. And the conclusion that I came up with was the fact that like slaves were taken from Africa and taken to a completely different land. Because a lot of these slaves that ended up becoming king was because they still had access to their area. So they were abducted in certain areas, they were taken to some place, they were held slave, they managed to escape, they go back, they recoup, and they launch an attack. But you couldn't do that as an African slave in the US because like the whole crossing the Atlantic was just a fuck thing for people.
Yeah.
Like it was just not possible at all. So anyways, I just thought that like, yeah, the slavery in that context was
Dude,
remarkably different to like slavery generally.
I mean, this is obviously a shift from what you were talking about, but I'm a fan. Like I thought that it was a really interesting argument. I'd never thought about it. I'd never had that perspective. No one had mentioned that idea. Who the old author, the guy who you mentioned at the beginning, the author?
Yeah, Samuel Huntington.
Yeah. That idea, how he was saying that like America isn't a country of immigrants, it's a country of settlers, and like fundamentally it's a Protestant, Christian or whatever, religious Protestant, socio-cultural, like baseline, and it's true because like there's basically these pilgrims with the like big beards and big hats being like, if you are an entity upon yourself, you can grow barley on your own 2 feet no matter what. God willing, you can grow barley. Even if you've got one arm, son, you can do it. And it's like, that was the overarching. That's why the dollar is king there. It's like, it's not, do you know, right? Do you know what I mean? Like these old school capitalist, like Protestant roots.
Dude, Huntington might have been, from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the first people ever to get canceled.
For saying that?
He was canceled because of that book. Not because of saying
that. Early settlers wore big hats.
No.
They were medium-sized. Burn him.
For saying like, the world will be dominated by cultural influences and cultural spheres.
But I think you're onto it. I think you're right because
he said that, and I think it was something that should be definitely be looked at. And his book on like which I referenced, the Who Are We, is such a great book on understanding who the fuck the Americans are, because there's just so much myth around them, and they've like built this weird fairy tale where like, yeah, immigrants, we're a land of immigrants. I don't. Well, it's kind of that's completely true.
Yeah, it's kind of a strange, vague, idealistic idea. It's kind of like, okay, so what you know, apart from the history, what are the sort of like broader socioeconomic and cultural implications of that? Peace and love. It's like, I guess that's a policy. Have you heard that before? Those ideas?
What, that it was like a baseline?
Yeah, just
of how it was
well,
developed.
Even just the perspective.
Of course. Well, it makes total sense to me. I don't even see that as a myth.
Yeah.
Right.
It's but like, did you know that the way a nation is set up is how it perpetually keeps going? No, I didn't know that. Ooh, Samuel L. I'm talking controversial. No wonder you got.
You know, it was even less controversial than that because
I'm talking to the wrong person. I shouldn't be.
His opinion wasn't even. It was a lot more sophisticated than people think. He was saying that, look, during the Cold War, the world was divided into two ideologies. The ideology was like capitalism and whatever, socialist, communism, or a variation of that. And those were the two ideologies that was keeping world order in check. And he was saying with the collapse of communism, you had a vacuum. But he was saying that this vacuum obviously needs to be filled. What would it be filled by? And he was saying that, in my opinion, it will most likely be filled by this fight of cultural supremacy, where you'd have areas of, like, let's say, the Turkish influence, which is going to grow, and they're going to fight in the world by saying, like, no, our cultural values, the way we run our system is probably the best. And then the U.S. has already done it. Yeah, it's history of the... And that was essentially his point, which was for some reason controversial enough for him to be canceled. He was not invited on universities. He was thrown out of universities.
Really? I didn't know that.
He would go on certain...
what does he do now? Is he dead?
He's dead now.
He's dead, yeah.
But he spent like his later halves, because I would watch his lectures. He would spend, every time he would come and he would say that, look, what I'm trying to say has been a very simple, because his ideology was touted by, like, you know, neo-Nazis or whatever, and it was taken up by them. But he kept on saying, like, dude, I'm not trying to associate with those guys. They're just using my work.
Damn, but Jordan Peterson at the time.
Yeah, but the fact that, like, he was saying that there are these organizations that are taking my work tells you that my work has some merit to it, because they're fighting it from their own cultural supremacist point of view. So it's exactly what I was saying. Anyways, he's dead now, but he was shunned by academia completely.
Was he a poor man?
I don't know if he was a poor man. He sold a lot of his books, so he must have made some money, but he was just not accepted in mainstream.
Nazism is rife in America.
But the thing is, like, I think everyone read his book. I read his book. I'm not a Nazi, but it's an interesting perspective.
But dude, the main takeaway is I'm a big fan.
And okay, so I've got another question. Maybe I should ask MLKs.
MLK.
What do they know?
What should be my next topic? Because I'm thinking of doing like a deep dive on Israel and Palestine.
I think it should just be a video upload of us two giving you a pink belly.
You want those subs, bro.
Dude, that's going to get more views.
Come on, if we do get another 20 subs, we're pink bellying Arlo. Are you up for that?
All right, fine.
Make it 50. Make it 50. 50 subs, and we'll sit there for a minute going, pink belly, pink belly, pink belly.
That's the content you want.
Isn't it?
But did you,
Are you not entertained
Let's see what they're.
by Ali talking about a very obscure text I've never heard about in my life from a dead man?
One guy wants Israel-Palestine. I do. I think you'd be pretty.
No, don't.
He's so over it.
I'm just so sick of controversy.
But that's the thing.
Personally.
Controversy. It's not going to be. It's not your channel.
I don't think.
Yeah, I know.
By
But
association.
I don't know, like, it's just Jesus. Can we just go through 1 week without strapping a landmine on ourselves and jumping onto a tank? Just one.
I don't think it was.
No, I think you know the answer to that.
I hate topping.
Let's just shoot up a bunch of kids and televise it. Like, let's get to that level of controversy instead of just always, every time, just like, oh, okay, so there's this massive propaganda network around that. Well, I'll be the case of that. Oh, it looks like David versus Goliath, and David loses every time. Like, it's just, can we
David's
not?
winning this one.
What?
Fair call.
David's winning this one.
Dude, there were.
Isn't David the Israeli side?
Oh, he doesn't want to be the.
How?
He doesn't want.
First, like Old Testament, that is.
Dude, I
No, the only reason why I say this is because
But
like
do you think in their head, they definitely think in their head, no, we're David, it's an Israeli name.
yeah, but they might not be wrong actually.
What do you mean? No, Goliath is not Palestine.
dude, there is a lot of. There is a lot of.
I swear, I literally.
Okay, you know what it is? David and Goliath team up to shit on Palestine. So David is Israel, Goliath is the US.
I get asked this like, can you explain Israel and Palestine a lot? And I hate talking about it because it's something that gets so much media attention and everyone talks about it. But I think there's some like really interesting developments that are taking place for that. So that's why I wanted to like one of the
I
things.
highly doubt there is. What?
Dude,
the overarching like Twitch comments have just consistently been, "Hey Jordan, man, like we love you. Please take a holiday."
Why is everyone saying that?
It's like a
is
thing.
It that obvious at this point?
I don't know, but everyone is just saying like, "Hey
Do I
man,
have
take
those,
it."
like,
They're
bloodhound eyes?
They're DMing. No, they're not saying about anything. They're not doing that. They're literally all just saying, "Hey man, please take a holiday. Hey miss, tell him to go on a holiday." And then like very sweet like parental stuff. Like we can't wait for that stuff. It's gonna be so exciting. I reckon Jordan should like go on like maybe like a 4-day holiday. It's like spamming of like make him go.
I think I told people
We
to do
tried
that,
to go to the Blue Mountains for my birthday.
Yes, we did.
which I'm sorry about.
It was just like,
Yeah,
dude.
you have to. Yeah,
Oh, man.
you have to. Don't go into detail, but like I won't go into detail either. But like we attempted a holiday, and truth be told, a holiday away from ourselves. But
We took shrooms. And
but
Not we.
talk about shit that'll get taken out of context.
I am so angry that
you-
this we does not include me.
Yeah, stay
you had
wait,
your
stay,
chances, but no.
stay tuned because
chose you.
Stay tuned because Ali will be taking shrooms live on the pod
This is what these guys are convincing me to do.
at
and I
not
am
too long a
doing
time.
it.
Not too long amount of time. This
In
man
fact,
will be
Miss
having
Love,
it live.
check the bottom of your feet. They probably are growing on them, and we'll just feed it to Ali.
True,
As soon
true.
as we are in the room with some blue mean eyes,
I-
we're taking
It's gonna be
well
heavy.
over the safe.
Jordan,
zone.
I really don't think taking
Can we start a
shrooms
poll?
live on the pod is gonna be good for me in the long
Just a
term.
poll. How
start-
many people want to see Ali
Thank you.
triple
Of
flop?
course.
Thank you.
they
Get the
do.
poll going.
But, like-
is it
Okay,
Matt who
if
does
it-
the poll?
If it's a majority, 51% Ali's doing it.
No, I don't think. I think like eventually I'm gonna regret it. Dude, imagine
Matt just messaged us. Bad idea. Bad idea. Bad idea. Bad idea. How is it a bad idea?
Yeah.
How is that a bad idea?
Matt, you need to take shrooms, man.
Okay, let's get a poll on our editor. Matt has to take shrooms. 2 polls. Anyway,
PewDiePie and Ali need to do the podcast together, and we'll just leave.
exactly. You don't want to
Okay,
collab with PewDiePie, dude. Fucking hell.
Okay,
You want
Jordan.
to-
So like now that you've said that you took shrooms, tell us.
Damn,
what was it like?
everyone is the net is exploding. And by net, I mean this very small group chat. But
We've broken the chat.
I think we'll do a deep dive into that on a Up Late pod or now. I don't really care, but the point of what that story was, when's
And
the
that's
poll?
the attitude that you will expect to have for the rest of your life after taking shrooms.
I think.
I don't really care.
Yeah, it's
It's
true.
all just
Yeah.
one thing.
I'm not.
But did you get what you were looking for? So because
Oh, everyone's
Yeah,
going.
dude, you know what? Like, to you two, so I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Just take shrooms. You will get it.
so Jordan doesn't usually dabble in the stuff like
No, but look, I will give the proviso there. If you are 18, no way should you be taking shrooms.
No way.
And I really hate advocating shrooms or any kind of drug. I'm using it specifically as a tool because of those comments of people saying Jordan really needs a holiday.
Yeah.
Boy, howdy, I took one.
Yeah.
You know, but I think it just gets to a certain point in life where you get into a ground groove. And I think that point in your life is called 30.
Yes, everyone 30
If you are
should be
30,
mandatory.
you should take shrooms once, and that's it.
Yeah.
I cannot stress this enough. Don't take drugs just because you want to escape your reality. You haven't built a good enough reality to escape from first.
well, why would you escape a good reality?
Yeah.
Because this is what you find after getting to the good reality. It's just that, is that all there is?
Will do.
I think that's what happens. I really sympathise with DJ Khaled. I am suffering from success.
Yeah, I think.
But after a while, when you have just achieved all your goals, you have instilled a bunch of habits into your life that just become mechanized. And I think this does just happen to anybody who is 30. So it doesn't really matter about material success or anything. It's just by the time you are 30, you are well ground into the person that you are, and you forget how you got there. You feel like you are a machine going through the motions, and you need something that is able to reset that. And I was reading a book by Michael Pollan that had just a bunch of academics in it saying that shrooms is the answer. And I do agree with that. But I will say this. It is not for recreational use. It is a tool.
Well.
What are you two saying?
man subs. Subs. Saying what we're all thinking.
But apparently, didn't you get didn't you have a bad trip?
Well,
and
look,
stuff?
Matt told us we should deep dive on the Patreon, and that'll get people getting on Patreon. I think that
And we will. And we
will
will.
do that. But we'll still do a brief overview because why the
So
heck
if you
not?
want to hear the full scale of my personal trip with Miss Loves, which I can assure you, here's a preview of it. He watched The Matrix.
That's only part of it.
1, 2, and 3.
Good choice, man.
That's only part of it. I also watched V for Vendetta.
Yeah, shit Matrix.
Yeah,
Man, I had some serious FOMO.
yeah, I bet.
And you should.
You should.
Well, should you? Because you were doing the exact opposite of taking shrooms. You were studying for law.
And I literally while I was
Look, could you... In the comments right now, is there anything more diametrically opposed to tripping balls than studying for law?
And while I
don't
was
think so.
studying, I kept thinking I could be doing shrooms right now. I could be doing
know.
shrooms right now.
The big question is, would it have been a help or a hindrance? And I think it would have been a help.
Yeah, look, I think so.
I think so too. But
While you guys were having the time of your life, I was understanding what kind of evidence is admissible and what's not. That was my
Its own
entertainment.
profound realization.
kind of its own profound,
It is not nearly as profound as you guys think it is.
still your own,
Very boring
time of
shit.
still a time of your own life. But dude, come on, this is good shit. I'm stoked, huh? But Matt's not doing the poll.
Get prepared for more hurt than we've ever had on an Up Late podcast.
Yeah. Matt's not doing the poll, but so we'll just make Ali do the shit.
Can we?
But
Okay.
anyway.
Well, so we'll unless
So
you,
sign up for a member if you want to know the full story.
Yeah, but like the full, exactly.
Pretty much what was happening was while I was tripping during that, I was also in a crisis conference.
Yes.
Which just shows you that at that point,
Unbelievable.
that is when you need to start taking shrooms.
Yeah, this
when,
man- yeah.
While you have allotted just a 2-day break in the last 6 years of your life, You get 2 days, and while that's happening, they're going, look, you are not going to have a business in 12 hours. I cannot stress that enough while you're sitting there going, dude, are you an alligator or?
That's the perfect thing to be on when you're dealing with that kind of bullshit.
Well, look, I will hand it to this man. His constitution is not to be messed with. One, because I had a very intense experience, and he took 4 times as much as me. And then, like, it is amazing that.
No, I don't think that I have a solid constitution. I
mean,
just
you
think
technically
that
do.
You are Ali on chili to Shrooms.
Yeah, that is true. Well, I mean, look, I've done my own research in the meantime, and
AKA he's had them before.
no, didn't mean that. I meant to say that I've watched a few Joe Rogans with Paul Stamets. That guy's wild.
Is that another bald-headed cunt that says?
No, he's a mushroom like expert, dude. If
Is
you
he
actually
bald though?
no, he's not. If you actually looked into his shit, it's fucking.
Oh, he's the one that
wild.
looks like a wizard.
Yes.
He is that gnome that sits under those toadstools in Norwegian folklore.
Yeah, I think it's Paul Stamets or something. They'll tell me, I guess. But anyway, that guy is wild. But that's my extensive research was 2 Joe Rogan pods. But what I meant to say was, like, we'll dive into that because there's a whole world to it. But first, irrelevant of that, firstly, like, irrelevant of that, you did handle that incredibly well because I could barely handle V for Vendetta. So you did very well in that instance.
But I told him about my theory.
Yeah.
Of how he was able. We'll get more into it in the up late. But okay, can I ask you another question, not related to Shrooms? Did you check out the Democratic National Convention?
That's not as fun as Shrooms, but all right, go on.
It is to me.
Yeah.
Go on. I did watch a little bit of Obama's speech and Joe Biden's speech, and you know what you realise? Man, I wish Obama was running again.
Really?
He's just better.
Yeah.
It's like what Bill Maher was saying, that watching him was just like watching some black guy on the basketball court versus just a bunch of short white people. That really is what?
But he's not as funny
as
Biden.
That's true. He doesn't have the meme factor.
Yeah.
Every time he says a joke, you go, that actually was a joke.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't wear he doesn't wear aviators and go, "Hey, listen up, guy." Hey, listen, guy.
No, you're right. Look, honestly, I really think that this is a real unfortunate case about Biden. If he ran just 4 years before, if he was running instead of Clinton, he would have been sharp, agile, a lean, mean killing machine. Biden, in ye old day, I think, was just exactly where he should have been as vice president, just a little bit worse than Obama. And I only think that he was a little bit worse than Obama because he didn't have that consolatory presence that Obama has. There was this great, I can't remember where I heard it now, I think it was in masterclass, but he was talking to the campaign of Obama and they were talking about the debates in the primaries between Hillary Clinton, John Edwards, which... You're thinking that it's that guy that does the crossing over
That's
thing.
what I was thinking. Yep. I'm seeing your
God,
presidency.
I wish it was. Well, dude, if he was running for president, he would have beat Obama.
Because he could see the future.
Or just freaked him out by saying, your grandma just died, right? I'm talking to her.
Yeah, no way. But you will be having chicken for lunch. It was beef, but that was close.
But I think this is a good experiment. I'm curious.
No, but sorry. I just wanted to finish that. And then they would... on the stage together, and then they were asking the audience afterwards, what animal would you liken them to? That's a really interesting question because it does describe your personality well. Because you know what they came to?
Yeah, that's right.
John Edwards, Labrador. And that is how he came across. You go look at him before, he's just this bounding, happy-go-lucky, just a bit dopey and friendly. That's what he came across as. Hillary Clinton came across as a jaguar.
Yes.
3 guesses why she lost to Trump.
Excuse me, sorry, cougar? Is it
And you know what else? Even back then.
Yeah.
And
right.
and Obama, the audience thought was a giraffe.
I think he's a sloth, but okay.
What? He does look like a sloth. No, you know what he does look like? He looks like a Galapagos tortoise.
I thought Biden was a sloth.
Why?
Because, dude, he's slow, Jack.
Now.
Yeah. Maybe not back then.
But he's running now. Come
when
on,
he's
you can't-
like in his prime, what is he?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe a flat.
Wait, MLK, tell us what animal you think Joe Biden is and what animal you think Trump
Dude,
is.
you know
I'd be
what?
interested.
Apparently,
Yeah, that's a good call.
What I do know is that,
And if he should take shrooms. No, I'm joking.
weird tidbit about Biden's law studies, but apparently he was a very average student that almost failed.
Who?
Biden.
Yeah,
Yeah, but look, I don't think that is his strong point.
No, but just for the record, not like normal studies. Like at law school. Law school's tough. Like most people just,
Especially in America.
even in
I mean,
Australia.
like
but
Obama blitzed it. but
Trump is
whatever.
a peacock. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Peacocks.
And they're saying Biden's a sloth.
No, you're
And everyone,
that's such a little psychological tactic that you just imposed on everyone.
me?
Yeah.
Well, by saying my opinion.
Yes.
All right, I'm a
What
genius.
did you think this pod was?
I don't know.
But do you think
Nothing
that,
but facts here, all
what's
right?
that organization? The QAnon. What are they called?
Yeah, Q,
Q&A?
yeah.
No,
QAnon.
Q&A.
Yeah, QAnon, yeah.
QAnon.
I know it's not Q and A, but honestly, to me, it is much more egregious.
Apparently,
what is that?
New
What,
York.
what's Q and A?
Biden's a goldfish. Interesting.
Oh,
know
that's
what that
so
organization
harsh.
is?
No, we're not talking about now. Yes, okay, now he's a goldfish that has never seen the light of day. We get it.
Trump's.
You know what I think he actually is? Just a packet of sativa.
Oh yeah, that's
substitute
so
sugar.
brutal. That's so brutal. I really like.
No, but I love you. I really do.
Yeah,
He's
I
actually one of my favourite politicians of all time. On a personal level, him and George Bush, gold. I'd love to hang out with both of them.
That's it. Yeah.
But
No, sorry. Go on. What's Quanta? Qantas?
Quanta. Well, that's it's an Jordan. Do you want to explain? Because I think you know it better than I'll ask.
oh, I know about it because I
Yeah.
did the expose about Scott Morrison's mate being
The Hillsong guy? No.
No, this is a family friend who's the head of QAnon in Australia and has all these crackpot theories about pedophile rings.
What is QAnon?
It's like this. It's this conspiracy that started up in the US. No one knows where it started. So 4chan
Zeitgeist.
probably.
Yeah.
And they have sent this misinformation throughout. I think that at this point it surely must be co-opted by either Trump's campaign or the CIA or whoever wants Trump to get re-elected because it's such a powerful tool. It's this thing of just like there's this guy that has, I don't know, I can't remember, like triple gold black pass and knows all the government secrets. And no one yet has asked him what is in Area 51.
Oh, I'm so
But-
keen on that.
Yeah, I know. But like, he basically just comes up with all of these conspiracy theories and says that he's going to predict the future, and then, well, do you know it happens?
Oh, I
But
see.
there's a little thing called the Nostradamus effect where
Oh.
it's just, again, John Edwards. That's why he would have been president. But
Right.
just making it up as he goes and
Yeah.
kind of fits reality. So very vague enough for that to just walk around on it.
Yeah.
Horoscopes is a different story, but yeah.
Apparently, that organization that came on first of all, like it started off as like a small, like sort of fringe conspiracy theory, but it's encompassed a lot of internet conservative ideologies.
Yeah.
So not old
Talked
school
about it.
conservatism, but like new age conservative. And it's literally they're saying the bulwark against Biden and his presidency.
They're against him.
Yeah, they want Trump. They love Trump. They love Jesus and they love Trump. But then the other
Which is
thing,
why
is, like,
Bill Maher did a hit piece on them recently.
yeah, and that's what like one of the things in his piece was how people like Michael Flynn are now. So
What are their functions? What do they do? Like, do they just sort of like hang out at Area 51 and be like, "I seen it. Oh, wait, it was a star."
I think they're like a. It's not one thing anymore, is it? Because if it's got people like Michael Flynn in it, it's clearly evolved into something much bigger now. But it started off as like there's like an Illuminati kind of organization that is controlling everything.
What does Alex Jones think about it?
Well, he's probably like on
In
board.
there.
He's probably one of the.
He was just like, you've all been fooled by this. QAnon was set up by the Chinese and Google. And Google.
Tricoms and Google.
But do you think Trump's winning? Oh, sorry. Do you think Biden's winning?
He is winning. He's
They-
ahead.
This will be interesting because now your theory is going to be tested. So Biden is a centrist, so none of that stupid kooky Bernie Sanders
None of
stuff.
those phrases, but yeah.
whatever. Like
Well,
he's not Bernie Sanders, right?
Apply these phrases, especially
That
for
is not a
American
controversial
politics.
thing to say.
Yes,
he is a
He's not
centrist.
Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, he's not Bernie. He's a centrist.
But what the fuck does that mean?
He's a
It means
Dem.
that
He's just
his
an old school
policies
Dem.
are less progressive and left wing as compared to Bernie Sanders.
These phrases. I've spent so much time.
Dude, I can list down an entire list of
I just
policies.
feel like a tired mum all the time.
Take a break.
I
Take a
don't
break. No, dude, come on. That's not a.
I don't think this is a really controversial thing to say.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's not a controversial thing to say, but it should be. That's my point.
Why? Give me one reason why it should be.
We've been through this, but look, because you're not saying anything. If you're just saying he is not a progressive, what the fuck is a progressive?
Right.
Pretty much all you can say is that Joe Biden ran on a different platform to Bernie Sanders. That is correct.
That is.
But you can
that
make
is a
centrist mean anything you want. There is going to be a bunch
Not necessarily.
of Socialist Alliance magazines that'll be like, why Bernie Sanders is a milquetoast centrist sellout. They just
He does have
moves
a point.
around.
He does have a point, I guess. No, you did.
People are
Look,
going to
it's
say
a
that
totally
people
different
will say
debate, but
that,
I don't
know,
think-
like
I don't
George
think there's
Bush
a
was a
point.
centrist, you know?
Yeah. But look, that's not the big
George
issue.
Bush was more of a centrist than someone like Bernie Sanders or a Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
Again, there's nothing controversial in that.
They're
It just
broad
helps us
terms.
understand.
Yeah.
But look, if you look at it, Bill Shorten pretty much has the same policy positions as Bernie Sanders, and yet Bill Shorten is known as a centrist.
In the context of Australian politics,
So
the Liberal Party in
like,
Australia.
it's just basically being like, everyone is that guitar. Joe Biden, he's that remote.
If I want to say
I'm
what
back
Joe
on board with
Biden
him
believes
now.
in, I'm going to have to give you an entire manifesto of his political policies. So as opposed to that, I can say he's a centrist.
It's
Now,
okay,
Yeah, but I
said,
just, I
his
just,
thing
I
on,
just
like,
really want to
Medicare is-
labour this point. Ali's allowed to say it, you're not.
But
Fair.
look, either way,
Fair.
what I'm
No, but
saying
it
is that
true. Ali has done a degree in politics, and he's just able to use that as a quick
You know what?
thing, but-
That's a good middle ground. That's a fucking
All right.
good middle ground. If you're qualified, and I'm not qualified, so I'm not allowed to say it. But if you are qualified in like geopolitics and law, you're allowed to say it. I think that's a great because you genuinely understand what those terms.
But anyway,
Well, like,
what my
no,
point
but
was.
yeah, he's just using it as like a control out. Or
yeah.
most
It's a
people are
caps
not
lock.
using
Yeah,
that.
And
But
you know what?
What I'm saying is like, look,
together
this is
right now.
This is what the Democratic establishment has been arguing, which is something that you also argue that if we move towards more kooky left-wing candidates like Bernie Sanders, according to them, then that's going to alienate a huge swath of population and we could never get elected.
No. It won't alienate the population. The propaganda model will kick into action and scare them out of voting for those policies. I understand that the majority of the public want those policies. The majority of the public want Labor's policies. How often are they in power? 30% of the time. That's
always
my point.
always gonna go back to the statistic of I can't remember. Fuck, I can't remember what it was, but it was like 50% of maybe it wasn't 50%. Percent of Americans were for universal health care and like
No, well more. I think it was
No,
70.
it's all-
70 and then like 30% thought they already had it.
Oh, no, that was...
That was a constitutional
thing, yeah.
enshrinement. But yeah,
Close.
but
Either way, it makes you think, huh?
But what I'm saying is like, what if Biden loses? If Biden loses this election, right? Hypothetically, does that mean that should shut up every establishment guy of saying that they somehow know how politics works?
I don't know.
Are you willing to concede that if Biden loses the next election, just the way in England or Britain they said when Jeremy Corbyn lost that was a death of like, again, like I'm going to use progressive politics. If Biden loses this elections, do you think this whole debate of like alienating the fringe and bringing
I think it's just a raw political fact. First of all, hypothetically, yes, but the thing is that I think that also the true levers of power in the US have realised that Trump is not an enemy of theirs. They thought he was because of the rhetoric during the campaign, and they just would have preferred the steady hand of Hillary Clinton. But they are still enacting the same policy, so you really just you don't really have that test run to go for it. But I would just say that this is just common sense. If you are running a candidate that alienates not the population, the power base of a country, is that politically smart? It's stupid.
But are you arguing?
if that's happening, it's
Are
stupid.
you arguing if Biden loses, then the Democrats would have to re-establish their sort of like place in the world and their policies?
That happens after every election. Whenever someone
But
loses
what do
an
you-
election,
what do you ask-
what I'm saying is that there is this. In my opinion, there's a myth. The myth is that if you get, again, for lack of a better word, a centrist politician that's from the Democratic Party,
Yeah.
or even like in England, if they're part of the Labour Party, a centrist guy, they're going to be able to woo more people that would have normally voted for the opposite party, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. And they say that if you have candidates
I think that
like
is a myth. Yeah, I think that
Bernie
that's just what
Sanders-
they say to the public. But
Yeah.
I don't think that that's the reason that they push for Biden.
Yeah, I'm not saying that Biden is going to lose.
So what? You go on.
What I'm saying is that I think I'm happy that this theory is going to be tested though, because I think this theory is false.
I don't think it is a theory.
What do you mean? Like,
I think it's just a lie. It's a convenient narrative that they sell to the population. But
then why?
it is my critique of it. I swear that that's what they're thinking.
So-
They're thinking that if we put in Bernie Sanders, there goes Wall Street, there goes any corporate donations, there goes any corporate backing, everybody's just going to be on the Trump train.
So you're saying the power structure of the country determines who wins and who is palatable, not these sort of like vague political theories. Is that what you're saying?
Of course.
So
you're saying
basically,
no Democrat could potentially be elected in that way then, because the power structures are going
Not
to
unless things get really serious.
but Trump won. I know.
And
it's not
even
the
then,
same.
I don't think it would be, because back then, like when you're talking about FDR days, there was strong unionized workforces, and that doesn't exist.
But couldn't you argue that even though you can't compare Trump to Sanders, couldn't you argue that Trump won? He was an anti-establishment,
But he wasn't.
Well, he wasn't though. That's right. In reality, he
And
was super.
also, it's a very interesting dynamic on the Republican side, because pretty much you have the entire American power base barracking for the Democrats, because the power base in general isn't insane. They do want action on climate change. They still want to live on a planet where they can breathe. They just don't want to pay taxes. And cool.
I get what you're saying.
I prefer that too. I would really prefer that.
to be able to breathe.
And
yeah.
and like with Trump, the entire infrastructure of the Republican Party is completely beholden to one billionaire. There's nothing
Coke.
like that in human history. There's never been anything like that before.
I mean the drink.
Huh?
I mean the drink. It's just so tasty.
Yeah. Behind David Coke is a can of Coke Invisible, or whatever that clear Coke.
Yeah. Like anti-sugar. Ever heard of minus sugar?
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
ask what it is. Quanda.
Coke Zero went undercover because it got too hot. That's why it changed to no sugar.
This is what Shrooms
And
does.
you thought you wanted QAnon.
what I'm saying is like a lot of people are saying, or they're assuming that this is a slam dunk for Biden. I think don't say that too soon.
Not too soon.
No, because there's a lot of powerful people that back Trump as well, like you said. And then there's a huge amount of people that just back him without being powerful. They just like the guy. And do you see like how Trump's, the Republican convention, he put up, did you hear about that news where during the Black Lives Matter protest, there were these two white people, I think it was in Oklahoma or something.
And there was black people saying, we don't want you here, stop representing us. Or
No, they came out with guns. And they were like, we're protecting them.
yeah.
And then they got booked.
Charged.
They got charged by the police.
Yeah.
Those guys were at the convention. At the Republican convention.
Oh, okay.
Saying why you should vote for Trump.
Right.
Scandalous.
Not just scandalous, but like fucking Hillary did that with, remember that guy who was like, that Pakistani guy was like, you have not read the Constitution, Trump. You guys don't remember that?
I don't. Why wasn't that a slam dunk? Why?
Hillary did exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I'm saying is like I think there's a lot of animosity towards like this whole new idea of Black Lives Matter as well, which a lot of people might just be in hiding about it.
So you think there's a chance that Trump might get in again?
I think there's a chance that he might get in again. Look, I know I'll admit it.
Can they
Like,
stop pulling this playbook? I do definitely think that the Democratic establishment was fanning the flames of Black Lives Matter, and it's the same playbook that definitely lost them in 2006.
Yeah, it's probably true.
All of these factors all mold into one, but if you got rid of the cuckery around Hillary Clinton, she would have won.
Yeah.
but Biden's VP
culture
candidate
war.
is like
Such a cock.
is a symbol of that cuckery.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
She like
Worst
represents.
decision. If you wanted a woman of color, why not choose Tulsi Gabbard? And as if she wouldn't have gotten in line. She's from the military. All she does is follow orders.
I don't know.
Or just
enough
like
about
pick
that.
someone, like they don't even have to be like very prominent. You can pick a no-name sort of.
But I will agree with that I think that if they keep playing this identity politics, social sort of equality of outcome card, they're going to keep fucking losing. And I think that, like, it's a stupid card to play.
No, I don't think that they'll keep losing because I don't think that the perfect storm that happened in 2016 will be replicated. But you're making it harder for yourself. Don't you want to win more seats, not just get in on a slim majority?
You know what's interesting? Apparently,
You need a perfect storm. Jordan is
you know
right.
what's interesting? Apparently, the big issues, but apparently the one topic in America that is completely bipartisan, is that the expression?
Yeah.
Just bipartisan across the board, Republicans and Dems and independents, is saving the bees.
Oh, awesome.
Mass action on saving the bees, because everyone has realized like that means end game for everyone. And it's like,
What do you mean? Like, so you're saying saving the bees is a bipartisan platform and that should be used to win elections?
pretty much, because it's the only thing.
Yeah.
People are all bipartisan
What about
and
saving
passionate
old
about.
people, dude? Man, are
Old
you-
people.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
old
wouldn't it be
people.
great to see Biden in a bee outfit?
That'd be amazing. Buy saltwater taffy. That'd be mad.
Yeah, and him just not even noticing. It'd be like, where's everyone left?
Hey, fella, keep it to yourself.
I'm still wearing my pajamas.
Just on the topic of saving the bees, Jordan, you should definitely take up more of this like aged care debacle, man.
What did you get into
What's that
aged
got to
care
do with
for?
bees?
Fuck,
Because,
fuck
like,
aged
stay-
care.
people can kill
Bees.
the-
Saving the old people.
Why, fuck the old people. Bees we're all gone if the bees go.
Well, I don't know.
No, you know what? Actually,
What do you mean you don't know?
Australia has very impressive deposits of bees.
Mad. There's apps that they're making. They're making apps
What do
to
you
like
mean
get the numbers.
deposits of bees? Oh, dude, I've been to the Outback. There's
How
a
great is that?
fuckload of bees over there.
I'm
Dude,
so
but this
happy
is
about that.
serious.
You know, we have to export bees to Europe and the US
Yeah.
to keep their ecosystems running.
Dude, you know how this shit
Again,
works.
export
you know how
economy.
this shit
Advantage
works, right?
Oz.
The
Yeah,
bees
yeah.
go, then like flowers, then
Yeah, how good
boom,
is that?
Everything,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
everything is
essentially,
gonna
we're
go.
one of the only countries left where bee populations are fine. So who's the superpower now?
Well, that's
who's
actually-
calling the shots.
Dude, I know you're joking, but I bet in 5 years.
I'm not
some-
joking.
Yeah, okay.
I really think that we should be using this as a bargaining tool from now on.
Yeah, change your
It's
channeling
like,
to
like just these little subtle hints in trade agreements of just like, well, I'm not really liking this little exemplary for pharmaceutical companies. I mean, you're going to have to give us some honey.
Yeah, well, dude, like there's been drops in America of like 75%, like mass monoculture crops are. That doesn't matter how much oil America has. The level of drop-off from bees, which is because of monoculture and how it's affecting food prices in America and Europe, it's not looking good.
Don't you think?
So they
that-
reckon the bee crisis.
It's getting fucking bad, and Monsanto are to blame basically, and they don't.
what
give a
about like those apartments
Monsanto
in New
doesn't give a
York?
shit.
no, Monsanto doesn't give
well,
a shit.
that means the bees are going to die out. I reckon that they'll just keep lobbying. And
Dude, it's
stopping.
going to be like, it's getting really bad. Yeah. And it's getting to a point where, you know how like slowly this idea of like, like, I don't even know what it's called, but this sort of like, you were talking about it, like regeneration, is it called regeneration farming or something, where it's like you're sort of at least in equilibrium with, it's just the idea that you have a variety of things on your farm. It doesn't matter if you grow cherries. You need some different varieties of foods. You need some different varieties that you can't, no pesticides, no GMO to start with. And then you sort of incorporate.
Miss Love, I think we'll be fine. You know, we can now make bees. So you know
I don't
how
know about
Singapore
that.
has dealt with like dengue?
Just to finish
Yeah.
my point quickly, productivity goes up, prices go down. These companies are making more money than monocultures now. It's like oil here. Monocultures in America are subsidized to the T of whatever, and that sustainable kind of farming. You told me about it in Australia, where they actually farm and herd sheep near river systems, and they don't just fucking destroy it and move on and salt the earth. Do you know what I'm talking about? They have that is way more profitable. They're making more money.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm hopeful, but like it's such a no-brainer that it's. I mean, I don't know how. Like, it's just like there's no argument against it.
No, there's no argument against it.
Yeah.
But since when do arguments matter in politics?
Yeah. Well, at least it's a bipartisan issue. Is all I'm saying.
That's true. That
Yeah.
does give me some hope because, Jesus, I really have always questioned where is the line for Republicans. And
Well,
it
there.
turns out that it's just like they need to have those small towns that have that paper mache honeycomb that you walk in where you can taste different types of
That's
honey.
pretty much it for them.
Yeah,
for the Dems.
Any other mum and pop. That's what they need to get their head.
Yeah, for the Dems, it's like life on Earth.
Yeah.
For the Republicans, it's sort of like, that Louis, is Margaret's bee shack still there? They're closing.
It's not. I'm taking this all the way to the White House. Anyway, we should probably go.
No,
we get out of here?
Yeah, let's get out of here.
outta here?
But here's a ray of hope.
Oh, what did they think about Biden? Is he a bee? I don't know. What is
Busy
Biden?
bee.
Oh, no, now I've got anti-GMO cunts being like, what's wrong with GMOs?
No.
What is wrong with
Guys, give me
GMO?
1 week's break.
Look, I don't,
Look, you're saying that I deserve a holiday. You're responsible for that.
what's wrong with GMOs?
I think there's like I'm not saying like all GMOs are awesome and everything, but like I think there is a bit of an ideological opposition to GMOs too.
Yeah, there is, but
can be
GMOs
very beneficial.
They can be, but GMOs is just, they go hand in hand with monoculture. I mean, by definition, it is a mass. It is taking.
I feel
Look, but
you.
like,
I feel
dude,
you.
The only reason that
but
we need GMOs is because we're overpopulated.
And we don't
so
use
let's
it
just
for
say
that.
anything more controversial. Can we just wipe people out?
no, isn't it like remember that Simpsons episode when the baby corn becomes actual corn? I like that.
Those who hate GMOs are morons. I don't see GMOs feeding the world to any extent. They're like, it's gonna, a giant tomato is going to feed the world. Are you sure it's not just going to affect big companies like Walmart's bottom line? I think that's what it's doing. It's like,
No, look, there is a more nuanced opinion in it that, yes, certain GMO things, because really GMO is just kind of like dog breeding, really. Like
Yeah.
some of it. But, dude, there's also like a lot of sinister shit when it comes to
Dude, when it
GMO,
comes to, like,
particularly when it comes
pesticides
to, Monsanto patenting seeds.
Yeah,
So they can
exactly.
figure out which seeds are theirs and then sue farmers when wind blows over and those seeds just naturally grow on their
yeah,
crops. you know?
someone's just said GMO infects non-GMO crops. I mean, I think that there are huge implications for like health hazards with GMO food. Like that, I don't think that like the jury.
But what are
What
those?
is Biden? No, you know what Biden is? He is GMO corn brought to life.
He's Timon from like Lion King.
Is he the?
Shut up,
the
Slato
meerkat?
San, you fuck. So I'm just hitting back people now.
But Mr. I've just
And
wanted
donate to us on Patreon.
Yeah,
I
give
guess
us money, you
we're-
stupid idiot.
But Mr. I want to
Fuck
give you
you.
one good news before
Give
we
me.
go.
Give me.
I was reading this in Singapore. They have managed to like create bees out of scratch.
Are you fucking
Yeah,
serious?
and like not only that, the way they
like 3 different fucking peas.
I don't know how they do it, but what they've done is this is like they try to do it to like eliminate dengue. What they did was they created a breed of mosquitoes that are just the hottest mosquitoes ever. That like every female mosquito just froths over. They've got like this specific thing in them
hottest.
where like every time they have sex with a female mosquito,
Yeah.
the sex is great or whatever. I don't know if it's great, but like, but what it does is like it makes sure that the female mosquito isn't able to reproduce after. So it's got like some corrosive semen in it.
Oh my god.
So that way, just mosquitoes in one generation will just die out.
wow.
But so what I'm
And
saying,
how does that make bees?
Yeah, he's getting to that.
no, but like they made the mosquitoes so they can make bees.
Dude, if they can make bees, I don't know. I'll be so happy.
I'm sick of them just genetically modifying the world.
Well,
Don't you
that's
think that like just in a long time they'll just be like, okay, so we can't grow any crops anymore, but we do have plastic. So what we'll do is we'll make the corn look like plastic, and then we'll genetically modify humans so that they can eat plastic.
I know.
That's where it's going.
That's where it is going. But I mean, look, I mean, that's amazing if they can organically. I mean, it's getting crazy. I think I don't know what the latest is, but you know, I don't know. They put a pig's face on a human or some stupid shit. It's getting crazy.
Pig man. The bee.
That's an elephant.
But
Are you making fun of
Story
Hinduism?
the world summed up in a sound.
yeah, but dude, that is making me hopeful. That's amazing. I mean,
Yeah,
like
there you
I'm
go.
not anti-technology and anti you know, making bees from fucking
I'm just pro pedals, man.
yeah, but you know, no, that's dope. I think that's a good thing to end on. Actually,
It just seems like such a rort to me, and I don't think it's true.
Really?
It just reminds me of Pliny the Elder wrote this like natural history of the world in ancient Rome, and I always remember this, that he was saying, did you know that if you put a dead bee in your hand with certain spices and crush it up, the bee will come back to life?
Hey, can I just?
It's just a modern version.
This guy's not stopping. Slato Sansa, GMO has been going on since we started naturally selecting crops. Yes, that's why you have gout, because all you eat is flour, you moron.
I don't understand what's happening
Still
anymore.
going? How good is this?
You're having like your own version of a
suck
Twitter
my
spat.
cock.
Dude, it's so stupid. It's like we've naturally been doing it. It's like, yeah, that's why the Western diet is terrible. Woolies, you know how Woolies?
No, you're definitely right about that.
You know how Woolies? You
The
know how
trade-off, huh?
Sorry, but you know how Woolies has like 3 varieties of potatoes?
Yeah.
There's like 400, and that affects your health badly. By not having a legitimate variety of food is bad for you, dude.
What do you mean? So you're saying they should have 50 varieties of potatoes at Woolies?
Yes, I know that's probably not.
But that's hard to like stock and
Yes,
shit.
it's hard. Okay, no, fuck.
But not good enough.
No,
What they could do is they could make a Miss Love potato sack, which is just filled with different kinds of potatoes in one.
No, what I'm saying is like my argument.
Come on, just stock Coles with Centrum.
My argument would be like people should make an effort to grow their own food, even if they're live in apartments. We should be incentivizing like those gardens on the roofs and shit. Anyway, that's a different story. But what were you going to say?
We've had Jim Lash.
I think that guy's very sad.
go.
I love you, dude.
Yeah, we've got to
I'm
leave.
sorry I was mean. I love you.
I'm not sorry at all.
No. Keep
Nah, you know, no, seriously, good on you for having opinions. That's great.
Still going.
spam him on forest.
Oh,
It's still
Jesus.
going. Look.
All right, cut him off.
Yeah, no.
Cut his mic.
All right,
Let's get out of here.
do the ending. Let's just go.
We took some shrooms, make sure bees, and eat honey too. Nighty night.
Well, great wrap up. Good on you, miss. You are musically talented. Check out Forest Hall.
Hey,
More of
Forest
that.
Hall, new song coming soon.
That was the song.
All right. Are we still on?